Leaders like Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi were evacuated to safety. The police were overwhelmed for several hours as the protesters smashed windows and rifled through papers. The situation only really calmed as Trump tweeted to tell the protesters to go home, and as it was confirmed that one protester, Ashley Babbitt, had been shot and killed by the police. Trump again tweeted, referring to those at the Capitol as great patriots. Well, after the riot, over 900 people were sentenced, well over half of them to jail. But 4 years later, what do Americans now make of that historic day? Well, Fanny Ellar with Fraser Jackson revisit the Capitol riots for France 24.
Right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol.
There's great energy. You know, people were dancing to YMCA songs and waiting for the speakers to come up.
January 6th was an insurrection. It was an attempt to stop the peaceful transfer of power and subvert the 2020 presidential election.
People showed up to protest a stolen election. They were praying on the grass. Some of the Capitol Police let some of the people in. Some of the Capitol Police launched munitions onto a peaceful praying crowd.
It was a very disturbing day, a very frightening day. It made me very concerned about the future of our government institution.
January 6th, it was very much a patriotic, elated type feeling.
It lines up with the definitions of terrorism. It was a very dark day for America.
Had no idea we were going to the Capitol until Trump said we were, peacefully and patriotically, to let our voices be heard.
Brandon Fellows is one of the January 6ers.
I didn't actually know the White House was there until I started going through the security checkpoints. I was like, wait, the White House is... You know, I've never been to D.C. Probably within an hour. It was, it was just jam-packed in there. Rap artist is, or
like tens of thousands of Americans, the young man from upstate New York answered the call of then-President Donald Trump and traveled to the American Capitol in 2021.
I did not appreciate the what I viewed as tyrannical lockdowns. I was not appreciative of them telling us, you know, we couldn't operate our businesses, we had to wear masks here and there, rather than giving us the option to decide. I didn't like how they shut down churches or how I had to go to speakeasy gyms. I also felt like it could have been stolen and I wanted them to look into it. And because I never saw Trump before. And I thought this might be the last one. Wanted to show my support to what a great job he did those 4 years.
Wearing a Centurion mask, Brandon's image was broadcast around the world on January 6th. In these images taken from his phone, we see him at the Ellipse Park south of the White House. He then followed the crowd and marched towards the Capitol, allegedly with no violent intent.
They're shouting, they're letting us in, meaning the Capitol Police. So some people just immediately believe it and go in, but I was skeptical. So I say, okay, people are saying it's our house. I've heard it called the People's House. I also am well aware of how America was founded. We have a right and a duty to overthrow a tyrannical government. So that's when I walked in.
Carried away by the energy of the moment, the then 26-year-old changed course.
There's a power struggle. Somebody hands me a joint. I at first say no, but then they compelled me with, well, how many people are going to be able to say they smoked weed in the Capitol? So I said, okay, fine. So I puffed, and I passed. There we go.
On his way out of the building, he did a famous interview with CNN, which allowed the FBI to identify him.
Obviously, there's a power struggle. There's the peaceful guys that were like, no, we don't want to do that. Then there was that guy. You know, he just said, well, I'm breaking it in.
Brandon was unaware that day that his life had been turned upside down. 10 days after January 6th, he was arrested and sentenced to 3 years in prison.
We just had protesters, Peace Circle, breach the line. We need backup.
Daniel Hodges is one of the Washington police officers deployed to the Capitol on January 6th.
I could hear over the radio that there were officers already at the Capitol getting overwhelmed. by the violence that the people were causing. So they called for backup, and that was us. We ran to the vans that we had taken downtown, put on all our hard gear, the pads that you see in the video, and made our way over here to the West Terrace.
He says the crowd was far from peaceful.
The crowd was more sparse. Further out from the Capitol, they were content to just yell at us, call us traitors, oath breakers, telling us to remember our oaths, stormtroopers, that kind of thing. As we got closer, though, the crowd became more dense, more aggressive.
The police officer and his platoon tried in vain to keep the crowd out of the building, but faced with sheer numbers, they finally crumbled.
There was no getting that territory back once we lost the line. So we retreated. We went up some stairs there and went inside the Capitol building and I reorganized there. Put on my gas mask. And that's where you see the viral video that I've been in, just a pitched battle between a couple dozen police officers and just an endless number of the horde.
The man behind the mask is Daniel Hodges, being brutally attacked.
I was in there as long as I could until eventually I got pinned.